Joining me now to talk more about the upcoming election, as well as the debate controversy, is Trump Advisory Board member Natalie Harp. Natalie, it's really good to see you. Of course, a lot of our viewers may recognize you from your speech at the RNC. Once again, very well done. And ever since, I've noticed that you've been very busy as well. So I'm going to dive right into it. Right now, a lot of the controversy taking place focuses on the next debate. Of course, President Trump said that he will not participate in a virtual debate. The Biden team is saying that they'll hold a town hall instead. But I want to ask you, do you think that there's still a possibility of that debate taking place virtually, or is that a non-starter?
Well, can you believe how often they change the rules? I mean, the president predicted this back in December. I mean, if you remember that tweet when he was like, listen, it's rigged, and I'll take these on a case by case basis. And that's what he's been doing. But it's like, it's not enough that the moderators are helping Joe Biden. It's like they want the teleprompters to help him now, too. It's ridiculous. People don't get to see the candidates in like a raw situation where you have those dynamics if you're just sitting in a basement like Joe Biden. I mean, you want to be the leader of the free world and you're not even willing to go on stage next to the president of the United States and debate him on the issues. I mean, it's unbelievable. They act like, oh, they're going to listen to the scientists, but they aren't even listening to the top doctors, the leading doctors in the world that have been on the president's medical team and saying, I mean, he's going to be ready to go on Saturday. That's a long time. I mean, especially in the world of politics, there's a lot of time that goes on between Saturday and Thursday. So to just act like this, they're just covering for Joe Biden. But it really isn't surprising because they've been doing that since day one.
I mean, especially in the year 2020. I mean, 1 week seems like it is a couple months. So much happens in between there. So I think even when we look at the polls right now, we still have to acknowledge the fact that a lot could still happen before November 3rd. And I've heard a lot of people in the media say, too, oh, President Trump, he'll show up for that debate. He likes the limelight. But back in 2016, I remember President Trump saying if Megyn Kelly's on the panel, for example, I'm not going to show up to that debate with all the other Republican candidates. People said that he was bluffing then, and lo and behold, he didn't show up for that debate. So he does follow through on his threats when it comes to these type of, I guess, holding it against the moderators, or in this case, the debate commission. But what would another debate mean? Would it be an opportunity for President Trump to maybe make up for the last debate where people were very unhappy with just the way that it went for both candidates? Would this be a time for him to reach out to the American electorate?
Well, it would have been great to have a town hall setting. I mean, that wasn't rigged. I mean, look at the town halls that are all rigged in favor of Joe Biden. And then when the president gets a town hall with so-called like undecided voters, I mean, you look at their Twitter timelines and these people are definitely decided and they're anti-Trump. So, I mean, the debate commission, they need the debates more than President Trump. I mean, he brings the ratings. I mean, look at it. And Joe Biden always is terrible in the debates. I mean, even look at this week, Kamala Harris did terrible in the debates. So they're the ones that actually have the most to lose on this. The president, I mean, he'll get more ratings holding a rally that same night than, Joe Biden would get in whatever town hall he decides to do. But it's sad because it's like this whole election season, we really haven't had a lot of chance for the candidates to debate each other. And the president from the beginning was like, let's do more debates. I mean, everyone was laughing, but like the whole Joe Rogan debate, it's like, why don't do a 4-hour, freestyle kind of debate where the candidates just go back and forth. But Joe Biden's afraid of that. He needs people protecting him, whether it's the moderator or whether it's doing it from a basement so he can have people prompting him. And that's a very different election season because we deserve to hear from both candidates. But I mean, you look at the Gallup poll that just came out, 56% of voters say, that they're better off now than they were 4 years ago. So we don't even necessarily need the debates because we remember what life was like under Joe Biden and we know what life was like under Donald Trump. And we definitely want to go with Donald Trump. I mean, 56% of voters are saying the same thing.
And people mock Joe Rogan for whatever reason. I think it's kind of the media elites out there who say that,
Right.
He doesn't have the proper platform to hold a debate or whatever it may be. But every single one of Joe Rogan's podcasts reached 100 million people. So I think that maybe the president should consider doing that, even if Joe Biden doesn't show up. But when we're talking about the typical elite establishment media, if you will, I'm glad you brought up the town hall because NBC was caught bringing on people who were at one point Biden supporters and then bringing them on for another town hall only for them to be undecided voters. So I don't think they're getting the truth there when it comes to those type of town hall settings. But now we have Steve Scully from C-SPAN. I mean, last night he posted a very obscure tweet asking Anthony Scaramucci if he should respond to President Trump. And now he's saying he was hacked. But I don't think a lot of people are buying that argument. Is there an inherent bias in some regard against President Trump when it comes to these debate formats?
Well, I think people know the difference between being hacked and being a political hack. And I mean, this is completely not out of character for Steve. I mean, look at like back in 2012, 2013, people are finding tweets when he would do things that people found offensive and he'd be like, oh, I was hacked. Like you don't get hacked like that often and use the same excuse. And it's not out of character. I mean, he interned for Joe Biden. I mean, you look at his record. I mean, even this week, one of the moderators, what is she doing? She's writing a book on Nancy Pelosi. So, I mean, I think voters are sick of this. This isn't a fair debate style. I mean, the president, even with Chris Wallace, was having to debate two people. It's like the moderators are supposed to be moderators. They're not supposed to be supporters. But all you have to do is look at their timelines, look at their history, and they all are active supporters of the Democrats. Even this whole debate commission, if you look at who they've donated to, even these so-called Republicans, they're never Trumpers. I mean, they were never Republicans. They're Democrats in disguise. I mean, how often in politics do you ever get like a unanimous decision? They're making all these things unanimous, the debate commission, and oh, look, Democrats and Republicans are agreeing. It's like, no, look at who they've donated to. They've donated thousands of dollars to the Democrats, or they've worked on different Democrat candidates, whether it's Obama or on the transition teams. These people have a history. They have an agenda. They're trying to help Joe Biden as much as they can, but they tried to do the same thing with Hillary in 2016. Look at how well that worked out. She's just been going on a book tour of what happened and still can't figure it out 4 years later.
No, I mean, I think people are starting to see that the debate commission is a dinosaur and it's about time for it to be extinct. I mean, it's no reason to have it anymore. The politicians are changing, the politics are changing. There's no reason why these debates should be the same format that we've been practicing ever since the 60s or whatever it may be. But Natalie Harp, I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight and breaking down what we can expect, hopefully, over the coming weeks when it comes to these debates. Thank you for joining us.